Hello everybody, welcome back to the workshop. So in this video we are going to be continuing on our little bit of an experimental session here with different forms that you can create with a BISA 3/8 inch round spot or 10 mil round here. So hopefully you guys can see all these. I've got all these videos. These will all be linked up in the description down below, and they should all be out at the recording of this video. So let's go ahead and jump into it. So today we're going to work on another form of this right here, as you guys probably clicked in on the thumbnail and saw already, and I'm going to show you how that takes place. So we've already got our piece heated up here, actually a little hotter than what it needs to be, and we're going to take and draw this out. Again, we're looking for about a 4-inch taper. You don't have to be genteel with this. You can whack it as hard as you want and then start easing up once you get a little closer to size and dimension. And clean that up a little bit and we're almost good to go. So once we've got that tapered out nicely, that's the first heat. We won't keep you long today. I'm going to stick this back in the fire. And I'm actually back to running coke here for today. I had some larger plates of steel I needed to heat up that were a bit large for my gas forge. So I switched back over to the coke today. Now, I was going to make a video around this. People have been asking, hey, I see you in the background, my very observant viewers. Have you switched back to using a coke forge? Or have you switched back to using all green coal? And the answer to that is very simple. Hold on, let me, woo! You guys can probably hear me huffing and puffing here. It's a pretty cold day. It's about 10 degrees today, so in the shop. But the answer to that question is, I switch back and forth regularly now between green coal and coke. For demonstrations, I have found that it is easier on my voice and stuff to not have to talk over a blower and wait for the blower to ramp down. So I use green coal a lot in different blacksmithing demonstrations. Now I have found that to be a little bit easier on me. Whether it is or isn't, that's beyond the point. So what I just did there is I went ahead and rounded this up. You don't have to go through the trouble of rounding it, but I find that it works better, what we're about to do to it here once it gets heated back up. Now, one thing I will say that's nice about using the coke, using the metallurgical grade coke, is it will hold a nucleus of like really hot, say a really hot fire for a second. That way, you know, you just stick the piece back in, especially once you've thinned it out, and just let it sit there for a moment or two, and you bring it back out, and it's hot again without additional airflow. So that is very handy. So, on to what we're doing. Now we're going to take and go ahead and roll ourselves up a bit of a scroll. You guys, this is a great point to practice your scroll work, is on stuff like this. Again, you don't want to leave any flats. You want to practice not leaving any flats and making a really nice scroll. This is the way to do it. Now I will probably have to go ahead and get it hot again, just so this way I'm not developing flats like what you see here. I've kind of got a flat started right in here, and I was able to get this pretty well curved, and that's okay. But now I need to take and get the rest of it to where I don't get that little weird looking flat there. So I'll go ahead and kick this blower back on here for a second, and I'm actually going to let you hear how loud it gets here once I put the blower on. Give me a second. So this is about how loud as it gets. Got to move this microphone back up. Whoa. You guys are probably hating me right now on the YouTube end. But this is how loud it is with the blower. So you can tell that this is a little bit more. I have to raise my voice a bit to get it to come out louder on the camera. So that's the reason for using the regular bimutamus coal. So I'll go ahead and get this heated up just a bit more, a little hot, bear with me. Hopefully this isn't too loud and blasting your eardrums. We'll get this back up and going. Got a big old clinker in the bottom of this thing. That's okay, we'll get it up and going. Okay, good enough. Go ahead and shut that off. So as you should be able to tell, this is a lot nicer now. All right, so now I'm gonna go ahead and take that bend out of it. There we go. All right, good enough for demonstration purposes. So you guys can see, scroll work is one of my favorite things to do. I really do enjoy making scrolls. They are really fun, in my opinion. I'll brush this thing clean. And on the onset, you're like, okay, it's just a standard scroll. What's the big ideal? Now we're gonna do like we did with this other bit here, where we have made a preform and we're gonna flatten this out. Now, you might be wondering, okay, Roy, you're kind of just fishing to make videos here for YouTube. And I might agree with you there, except for the fact that I already have a job, but called a professional blacksmith. The point of doing this is when we put these two together. So, you know, if you take this flat and you add it to a round, now you've got an interesting shape. If you make this flat again, or make this round, now you have another interesting shape that you otherwise wouldn't have had. Hopefully you guys can see that. So you can add a grouping of things. See how that nestles like that in there? You can add stuff like this in scroll work to really up your A game. And you may say, well, Roy, I don't make anything fancy like gates or railings. Why is that important? This is just another foundational, nothing that we're doing here is beyond the fundamentals. Nothing that we're doing here is beyond the fundamentals. This is all basic work. So because it's basic, because it's the fundamentals of blacksmithing, because you're tapering and bending and doing scroll work and flattening out material and spreading and doing just basic fundamentals here, this is something that anybody can do if you take your time and learn the fundamentals. And then you can add it to sign brackets, and you can add it to towel bars, and you can add it to spice racks, and so on and so forth, and all different shapes and sizes of material. This could be a section of a gate that is, 2-inch square stock, drawn out under a power hammer and done the same exact thing. Or it could be down as delicate as what would go inside the hoop of a key. You can make it out of, 16th inch thick, or whatever that is, 1.5 mil thick, like gauge wire, and make some of this stuff and fit it inside of a key hoop or things like that. Again, you can kind of do the math. You could go bigger or smaller with this and adapt it to whatever you are most interested in. So I'm going to go ahead and fire this back up. I'll let you ponder on that for a moment, and I'll be right back with you. Okay, now that we got this piece good and hot, now we're just going to flatten it straight down. You want to start at the largest part of the scroll and slowly work in towards the tip. And keep your hammer blows nice and even. And then we're going to work back nice and evenly back towards the fattest part of the scroll and slightly transition that into the round bar. And again, the quality of this look will be dependent on how well you forged your piece in the first place. Now I'm seeing there was a defect in the bar where apparently I had some marks. Surprisingly enough, must have had some punch marks in this bar, because when I flattened it out, we can see those clearly. I don't know if you guys can see them or not. They are clearly right here. There's one right there. Defect in the bar. And there's a defect in the bar there. Right there. So again, that makes that a little bit of a bummer on this one, but it's good enough for the demonstration purposes. We'll show the good side of that scroll. But now you can see that flat scroll. Now it's like, okay, now I did not have to bend a bar edgeways. That's another benefit of this type of deal. Now I can add it again and collar it with, say, my sign bracket, if you will, doing something like that. Or I can make it contrary and stick the two bars together and go like that on the underside of a sign bracket. Or I could nip both these off, cut both these elements off, put a pin in them, scarf them, and weld them to a much larger piece of bar stock, and then turn this whole thing into a scroll. There's a lot of different things that I can do from here. So that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did and you would like to take and help us out here at Christ Center Ironworks, please consider sharing this video around with anybody that you would think would work, that this would benefit them specifically, or maybe not specifically. Maybe you just like us that much and you want to share us with your friends. We greatly appreciate it one way or the other. And, check out some of our other videos. Again, I hope you enjoyed this. Let me know, as always, down in the comment section down below. Remember to leave a like, and we will catch you on the next one. Thank you all for watching.